I wanted to learn about this brand new area that I'd only seen on television, and I'd at the time only seen men do. There weren't, in my own team, I think there were very few other women on the trading floor, and I was the only person on my team. But
So we have invited as a resource person Dr. Rita Kakati-Shah. She is the founder and CEO of UMA, New York. I suppose, ma'am, it is morning there.
Early morning.
Yes. Yes. Also, we have Dr. Pranab Kumar Sharma, IIE Guwahati Senior Project Consultant. Welcome on board, sir.
Thank you.
So I'm going to give a brief introduction about Dr. Rita Kakati-Shah. Dr. Rita Kakati is an award-winning gender diversity, inclusion and career strategist, speaker, author and advisor to Fortune 500 companies. She is currently the founder and CEO of UMA, New York. So UMA is an international strategic consultancy and training platform that empowers confidence, inspires success and builds resilience and leadership in women and minorities around the world. Dr. Rita is a distinguished alumna of King's College, London, where she also serves on the Advisory Council of King's Business School. She also serves as a trustee, governor and board advisor across multiple geographies and sectors. Dr. Rita has won multiple awards and recognitions from around the world, including honoree of the President's Lifetime Achievement Award from US President Joe Biden. So this is the brief, not so brief, but a huge introduction of Dr. Rita Kakati-Shah. We are very pleased and honored to have you, Dr. Rita Kakati, ma'am. Now you can take over the session. Thank you.
If you yourselves take part in the discussion. So I'll tell you a little bit more information about how I started my entrepreneurial journey, and then we'll talk about some youth behaviors. We'll talk about some of your behaviors as potential budding future entrepreneurs and future leaders in your local societies, and then talk about some entrepreneurship skills, which I really believe will be great for us to discuss together. So how did I start my entrepreneurship journey? Well, I was in investment banking, in finance. That was my career when I left university. I started on the trading floor in the equities division, meaning I was selling stocks and trading stocks from a young age. But here's the thing, I didn't know much about it, but I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn about this brand new area that I'd only seen on television, and I'd at the time only seen men do. There weren't, in my own team, I think there were very few other women on the trading floor, and I was the only person on my team. But I was so intrigued and curious. So that's one number thing, just curiosity to make a difference and to learn things. And that is that curiosity that really, really bound me to my first career trajectory. And I did that for about 10 years, based mostly out of London, with occasional trips to New York, to Frankfurt in Germany, and to Tokyo in Japan. But mainly I was in London for that. And then after my 10 years in investment banking on the trading floor, I went into the healthcare sector. So I was just going to say that after that, I spent some time in healthcare, but in business development. Now, business development incorporates lots of traveling. I love to travel, lots of places. Originally, my parents were from Hualkusi, right? They come from Hualkusi, but they settled in London many years ago. So I was born and brought up in London, and I moved to New York after I got married. And then after that, I had two small children, Rahi and Rhea. Rhea is 9, and she is in 3rd grade at school, and my son Rahi, he's 11, 5th grade. And when they were very, very young, I took some time off to raise them. About 3.5, 4 years I took. And then I realized during that time that, wow, this new career, this new journey is by far the most challenging journey. Why? Because not only are you working nonstop as a parent, as a mother, you never take a break. It's nonstop. So I certainly took my own parents, my own mom for granted until I became one. But the other thing it taught me was I learned so many skills in this new lifeline of mine that I didn't learn when I was in a salaried job before that. Things like communication. I always thought I can communicate, I can talk to people like here on a screen, I can present, I can stand on the stage, no problem. But communication is so much more. And I specifically learned this journey when I became a mother. How? Because when I had my babies, when they were little, they cannot talk when they're young, right? You have to find out what is going on because they're crying, because they're making movement. Similarly, in society, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, a big part of your job is to find out what your marketplace, what your audience wants, without them telling you explicitly in words what they want. You have to be able to read the room, you have to be able to listen and observe what is going on. And these are skills specifically that you learn over time and you learn by doing. These aren't necessarily things that you can pick up overnight. It's an exercise, it's something that you develop over time and you develop as you go on, right? So these are things that it taught me. And then I realized that there is a big difference I saw between certain skill sets and the reality going on in the workforce. So I felt very passionate about making a change with the perception and the development of youth and women in the corporate workplace, as well as the understanding of the development at university level. So this is why I started UMA. For me, UMA was my entrepreneurial journey to make change in the world, right? When you become an entrepreneur, there are a few reasons you become an entrepreneur, right? In my case, it was almost out of a passion to make a change. I was angry that women in particular and young leaders are treated very differently in the reality in the workplace compared to what's actually going on there. So just give me 1 second. So when you talk about these women in leadership, you talk about these different sort of patterns of behavior and frustrations and anger that really drive people. This is one of the reasons. Now, I want you guys in the room to tell me something about entrepreneurship. How many of you people here have ever experimented with entrepreneurship? That yes, have you ever had an idea that is a new idea, an old idea, something that is something that if you just put your hand up, if you've had a go, or if you think, I wanted to make a change in the world around me. Anything, you might be locally in Tezpur right now, and you might think around you that, I wonder why this is done this way, or I wonder why this is happening. I wonder why that's not done that way, right? That's an entrepreneurial mindset. When you start questioning what is around you, right? So have any of you ever questioned anything around you? Even something small. Manoj sir, have you ever questioned something?
Dear participants, you see, you are not a background of the entrepreneurs. You are all our faculty and all our teachers. Now you can react to Rita ma'am that in your teaching journey, in your faculty journey, have you adopted any new methodology to teach your students? That can also, you can share that things also.
Absolutely.
Normal teaching process and what the different types of teaching process you have adopted to teach your students. That you can share. And I hope being a teachers, you are experimenting that things. I hope you can share that thing to Rita ma'am. Okay.
Absolutely, Pranabda. Thank you for saying. Because entrepreneurship is a different way of thinking. When you sometimes think you have students, absolutely. If you have students that aren't reacting to what you're doing, say you're teaching a class, right? You're teaching a class and you are asking your students questions, or you're developing, or you're teaching them a brand new concept about something, right? But just imagine if they're not reacting to it. Do you keep going with the same thing, or do you think, you know what, let me change my methodology a little bit? So you're more likely to go back that evening and think, you know what, let me change something. Change my resources, change the way I teach, maybe, that's something you think about, or just change something of doing things, or make it more interactive. Sometimes you think of different environments for the students.
Actually, in Assam, in Tezpur, scenery is like that. Whenever we meet a student for first time, we ask them, actually, what do you want to be? A entrepreneur
Yeah.
or you want to seek job? So most of the
Right.
students, they want to say, become an employee. So we have to change the mindset of our student from job seeker to job giver. So that is the first and foremost duty for us. How we convert the mindset of our student from job seeker to job giver. That is one of the
So-
great challenges for us in
Okay,
Assam and in
Manoj,
the
thank you
Tezpur
for saying
region.
that. So here's the thing. If you ask somebody that doesn't know what a certain concept is and say, do you want to work in a secure salary job or do you want to take a risk and maybe make any money? If you are nervous and new, what are you going to pick? You're going to pick salaried, secure job. So the way of asking needs to be changed as well. Right? You have to make people excited. Why should people become an entrepreneur? Right. The one thing about students, and I know this having taught so many students, is they want to create impact in the world. They want to make change happen. They are frustrated by some things. They want to make change. They are change makers. So if you invigorate that, talk about a concept, an industry, an area that is around them, that they want to see done differently or changed or something, that is an entrepreneurial mindset. If you ask someone straight away, are you a risk taker? Are you someone like that? People naturally don't do that if they don't know. It's the uncertain. We are human beings, all of us. We are social by nature, and more likely than none, we're risk averse in general. So because of that, if you ask people, why don't you take a risk? They'll be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm going to sit at the back of the classroom. I don't want to be part of this discussion. But what is entrepreneurship? You are making change for the better. Right? Now, one thing about Assam and the Northeast, we are very, very heavy in natural resources, in brain power, in natural textiles, in materials, technology, lots of things, the silk industry, oil, tea, so many things. And there are so many solopreneurs in Assam. A lot of them women, actually. If you look at households, women, they're starting bag companies, textile companies, silk boutiques, they're running it. So there are lots and lots of potential going on, but people do not even know the name for that is an entrepreneur. Did you know the smallest dokani in Assam, to be a dokani, you are an entrepreneur. Why? Because you are managing your own finances. You are taking risk every day that today nobody's going to come to my shop. How do I keep my door open and feed my family? You see, so that mindset needs to be changed, that an entrepreneur is not a job that has prestige. You have to lead by examples, lead by role models, lead by the people, leaders in the world that have done great things and making change to people's lives because they are willing to ask questions and go to the government and go to the local authority and say, you know what, let's change this. You see, this is the way of questioning. So as you guys very well asked, Manojda, but as faculty, as teachers, you need to invigorate that spirit. Don't give students a black and white, yes or no answer. Let their creative juices come out. Ask them questions like, observation. When I was in Tezpur a month ago, I noticed the roads are beautiful now. The bridge is, wow, very high class. Right? But then ask the students about the bridge. I said, what do you think about the bridge? What do you observe about the bridge? What do you notice? One thing I noticed is that it looks beautiful. The infrastructure is world class. But when you drive, the lanes are beautiful as well. Nobody drives in one lane. There is one traffic light. Nobody stopped at the red light. So there is a disconnect. So one of the things to change and figure out is, how can we change that? What can we do? What authorities do we need to go to slowly figure out how to connect the dots? Why have a beautiful road if you're not going to follow the rules that you have yourself put? So there are things there that, we Assamese people, we're coming up with the infrastructure. We can make the materials very beautiful. But how do we make something change? How can we do that? So you have to invigorate that thought process in your students, right? By doing that, you have to make them talk about world issues. A lot of students nowadays in Assam have been taking part in United Nations model United Nations nowadays, right? Some of them do it through clubs and societies. Even at Darrang College, there is one that does it. I know because we follow each other on Instagram. And there is a model UN that does this. So the students do this already. But they have to be able to connect with you, a different generation, to express that. So they are already doing some entrepreneurial things. What is the model UN about, for example? It's about changing things in the world around you. Greater world. Let them start in Assam, where they are in Tezpur. What are the things they want to change there? Let them do the model UN in Tezpur. What are the things they can change about climate, about gender equality, all of the topics they discuss in the UN, because that is entrepreneurial mindset. They want to change things. So you grab onto that mindset and you nourish that to say, how do we change things? What do we do? You get them so interested and enthused about something that they want to do something. And if they come up with a question, maybe have think of ways of having like an idea box or having a way that they can express their entrepreneurial mindset. If they want to make a change, if they want to start a business, if they want to ask a question, how can they manifest those ideas? Who can they go to? Which faculty member can they go to if they have an idea? You cannot just say nobody or ask this person. Right? Unless you're an entrepreneur, you don't know what it's like to be an entrepreneur. You have many hats. You have to be an expert at so many different things. It's a fighting mindset. But it's a mindset that actually students are very well connected with. So that's something there that's naturally the behaviors of the students are very moldable right now. They are sponges of information and they want to make a difference. So it's up to you guys, teachers, faculty members, to connect them and get them, do not let them lose their excitement. They are very creative right now. Give them homework, case studies, then make them let them become more creative in their mindsets. You see? So that's just some of the things I wanted to share. And then the other thing about to becoming an entrepreneurial mindset is just punctuality and how you trustworthiness, how you are perceived by other people. Right? There is something about us in Assamese people in Assam. Everything is a little bit lahe. Right? But if everything is lahe, nothing gets done. That is an attitude. If you think, hobo there, then how you're not taking it seriously enough. Right? So it's about slowly changing those things. In the Western world, when we do business, and if a class starts at a certain time, people are waiting in the waiting room or think 15 minutes in advance. The timing is a formality. Right? So I'm just saying that these are the things. I don't know how the classes happen. Manojda, we are working together to do a leadership development cohort at Darrang College as an example. But in order to do that, we have to get your blessing and help from all the faculty members, all of you guys and all of your individual colleges too. Right? It's something about a mindset. Start from the start. Start on time. Have consequences if people aren't on time. They miss. You just start. And then people are going to start coming and think, oh, I'm missing the first 5 minutes and now I don't know what my assignment was. Incentivize people to show on time. Give the assignment first thing. And if people miss it, then they lose a point because they haven't handed in their assignment. Whatever it is, that's up to you to discuss. But the little things can make a change and make differences happen. Right? How do you get things happening on a global level, international level? It's about creating those mindsets. And the mindsets start with you guys. You're the role models for them. Right? You have to invigorate the passion that they already have inside of them. Get them to talk about things. Find out a topic that, an area that you know that entrepreneurs are very, very busy in right now in Assam. Look at the very different projects that Nedfi are looking at right now. IIE, Pranabda is here. Find out what projects some of the entrepreneurs at IIE are working on right now. Use those as case studies. find out if some folks from IIE can come in as guest speakers, talk about their project and use the students. These are all examples of how the students can start getting some different mindset ideas together. So, Manojda or anyone, do you have any other kind of comments or observations or questions you'd like to share or ask?